Alright, so how early did they know that I was not schizophrenic or delusional and that these assaults they keep showing you were real? Well, this one right here is from Catherine Cius, and it is from a visit on 1/28/2023. They wanted to play it off as me being suicidal when obviously it states very clearly right here that people were trying, well, it says he was being forced to kill himself. In reality, people were trying to bully me to kill myself, and you've gotten to see some of that evidence. But in case you haven't, I'll show you a piece. This was to the TFCC investigator. Oh, I didn't mean to highlight it. You see that? Yeah, that's a very real threat. There's more evidence that these people are trying to, well, they're obviously committing hate crimes. Look at the names they're calling me, and of course the threats that they're making against myself and my niece. These are very real threats. All right, this isn't somebody trying to twist somebody else's words into, oh, well, that kind of seems like it might sound sort of like it could be a threat somehow, sort of, but not really. You get to see there's, oh, here's one from Mossam Vision.
Abuse. Don't get me confused, man. I ain't no fucking PC. I'll stab you right in your fucking eyeball and show your fucking ass. You know, fucking heartbeat. Never.
Yep, that's very real. And of course, these are some of the harassment phone calls. Oh, and there's also some of these. These are all pictures that are pretty horrible. I scrolled through a bunch of the stuff with the threats. I was wanting to see how far down it was when we could get to the part with, oh, here's a response from my sister about the threats. Yeah, I sent that to them too. So they were aware of this stuff. So here is 3 dismissals from Nebraska. And this is a notification from Marcia Estrada. We actually have that notification right over here. It is right there that verifies that I am neither schizophrenic nor delusional. So let's take a look at when this is from. This is from April 15th, 2024. So they at least knew on April 15th, 2024. We can go back further though, because this one right here, I was telling them about abuse, and also the man who came in with me was telling them about the abuse. It also says he has been living in his car, but it is not legal to drive. He has been a victim of abuse as someone who is homeless. I also told her that I was fleeing abuse. Very clearly right there, I am fleeing abuse. He has been a victim of abuse as someone who is homeless. And yeah, Mike told them that that was going on, that it wasn't a delusion. So this is the only one where they don't pretend that I'm delusional out of all of the stuff that they sent to my attorney. This is the very first interaction that they pretend exists. But all of the rest of theirs, they pretend that I'm delusional and that this abuse is not real. Can you imagine that? We're going through primarily official stuff, since this came from forensics in my case, and so did this one. Well, not necessarily. The forensics could have been used in my case to show the threats that I've been receiving, but my attorney was useless and wasteful. Here is Ashley Astoup, and she claims that I am not schizophrenic or delusional, and if you notice, she's a certified forensic evaluator. This right here is some of my medical records from Colorado, and it talks about my back as well as my autism. This one right here is the one from Nebraska, and it shows that I have ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, that I do not have schizophrenia. It says it does not appear Sean experiences any hallucinations or other psychosis. He does not meet the diagnostic criteria for schizophrenia. And yes, I did send that to her. And then there's also the neuropsychological evaluation here from Dr. Leslie Carter. And then there's also the evaluation over here from the state hospital, Oregon State Hospital. And there's two evaluations from them apparently. Dr. Leslie Carter as well. All of them state very clearly that I am not schizophrenic or delusional, and nearly all of them explain that the abuse is real and that they've seen it. Now, this one right here is from 11/19/22, and I followed all of the instructions on there. You notice I followed all of the instructions they gave me. That is my name, and I was trying to turn in the abuse from the very start. So this is the earliest they had knowledge that I was telling the truth. Now here's verification from Deputy Taylor that I was telling the truth. And another verification from Deputy Taylor that I was telling the truth. Obviously not delusions. Here's one from Deputy Fenewald showing that I was telling the truth. Absolutely. So how soon did they know? These are Sheriff's Department employees, Police Department employees, their quote-unquote mental health. And then there's these two stacks where they pretend that I'm schizophrenic and delusional over the Natalie Bollinger situation to begin with. And afterwards, they continue pretending the delusional thing, but they just stop mentioning Natalie Bollinger. They left out a lot of visits, too, like the ones with a worker named Doug through TFCC, and also a woman named Lacey Hawkins, who had a full conversation with me and Deputy Taylor about the Natalie Bollinger situation. We've also got verification of the inability of me to reach out to the phone number that I was given from my attorney over and over and over again. There's actually about 6 or 7 of these altogether. And that's not exactly professional, but that's a witness statement from a woman named Lori Craig, who was trying to help to turn this situation in. So, with that said, and there's more here, obviously. There's a lot more here, and that's what I'm trying to point out. You know, this right here, I have read it. I've read it several times, and yeah, I severely got screwed. My rights were completely denied, and that goes through every step of this. All of these agencies knew that I was telling the truth. And let me show you this. Not only did they know that I was telling the truth, it was actually stamped for the courts here in Tillamook. They saw this from Deputy Taylor and yet continued to pretend that it was a delusion. Good job, DA. Does that stand for we'll be nice about that?